Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Antonelli here. So, some news has been getting a lot of attention with the Washington Nationals. They've decided to lower the payments that they've been giving to minor league players. We made a video last week about the Oakland A's and how they have basically cut payment altogether starting in June to minor league players. They were paying $400 a week. Basically, every major league team has been doing that for their minor league players. The Oakland A's said that they will no longer be doing that. Tons of teams since then have come out and said, no, we're going to continue to pay our players at least through the next month. But now the Nationals just came out and said that they're lowering the payments from $400 a week to $300 a week. And right now, I believe they're the only team that has lowered payments. And so this video isn't so much about that, but it's about the response from Sean Doolittle, a major league pitcher for the Nationals, has come out. We're going to talk about his tweet in a second, but the major league players are going to help support the minor league players during this time, which I think is great. And so I want to talk a little bit about that and give some of my thoughts. So let's get into it. So first, my boy Jeff Passan, not Jet Passan, but Jeff Passan, he threw a tweet out yesterday. He said $100 a week for 200 some odd people who are severely underpaid to begin with. $100 a week that someone whose family is worth $5 billion didn't want to pay. This is not that difficult. At least the Nationals players understand what compassion, grace, and solidarity looks like. Okay, so Jeff's not too happy about this whole thing. Before we get into Sean Doolittle, I just want to look real quick. So the GM of the Nationals, Mike Rizzo, it wasn't too long ago, it was only a couple of months ago, that he talked about how important the minor leaguers were and how they were going to continue to pay them. He said, these minor league players are not only of great importance to us, they are the next star members for the Nationals, the next union members for the MLBPA. They are of great importance to baseball and the Nationals. Okay, so they had talked about, again, he said how he was going to take care of them. And so this is, a lot of things, I guess, have changed since a few months ago. But just to give you an idea of what was said previously. And now, Sean Doolittle. So he comes out, he throws a tweet up last night. And it says, after hearing that Nationals minor league players are facing additional pay cuts, the current members of the Washington Nationals Major League Baseball Club will be coming together and committing funds to make whole the lost wages from their weekly stipends. All of us were minor leaguers at one point in our careers, and we know how important the weekly stipends are for them and their families during these uncertain times. Minor leaguers are an essential part of our organization, and they are bearing the heaviest burden of this situation as their season is likely to be canceled. We recognize that and want to stand with them and show support. And so Sean Doolittle just seems to be someone that kind of gets it, and every major league player has played in the minor leagues, some longer than others, right? Some guys grind through forever, and some guys maybe only play a year or so. But there's been very, very few players in the history of the game that have not played in the minor leagues. Basically, everybody plays in the minors before they get to the majors. But in my experience, just playing, I played in the minor leagues and in the major leagues. It's so different, even though you can be in AAA and be this far away from the big leagues. Yet the major leagues and the minor leagues are just completely different. And sometimes I feel like major league players, once they finally get to the big leagues, they start big leaguing the minor league players, even though they were just there. And I've talked in other videos about how when you finally get called up, you get most players who get called up don't get treated great by major league players. Now, there's some major league players that are great guys, and they do treat the minor leaguers great. But it isn't always that case. And so I think this is great that Doolittle recognizes this. Not only Doolittle, but the majority, if not all, of the major league team does. He also tweeted, he said, players had a Zoom call right after the news broke. Every player wanted to do something to help. It was unanimous. Proud to be part of this group. And so good for Sean Doolittle, good for the Washington Nationals major league team banding together and being one organization and not being a major league team and a minor league system, but being one organization, which I think is really, really awesome to see. the last thing I'll say, the Kansas City Royals, which Dayton Moore, their GM, I've been looking at a lot of his stuff, and I like this guy. But they came out and announced that they're not going to be having any layoffs, any furloughs, any pay cuts. They're going to be paying their minor league players throughout the entire year, right? Not the entire year, the entire season. Just keep that in mind. So players aren't going to get paid in the offseason, but they are going to get paid for the remainder of what would be their season. And he said, understand this, the minor league players, the players you'll never know about, the players that never get out of rookie ball or high A, those players have as much impact on the growth of the game as 10-year or 15-year veteran players. They have as much opportunity to influence the growth of our game as those individuals who played for a long time, because those individuals go back into their communities and teach the game, work in academies. Our JUCO coaches, college coaches, scouts, coaches in pro baseball, they're growing the game constantly because they're so passionate about it. So we felt it was really, really important not to release one minor league player during this time, a time we need to stand behind them. So again, I think Dayton Moore he just seems to get it, and he was someone that he played pro ball. I was watching a couple of videos on him a couple nights ago. He played pro ball. He coached in college. He scouted. So he's kind of worked his way. He was a player. He's seen what it's like to be a player. He got into baseball at the college level. Then he got into it as a scout on the professional level, and he worked his way up to general manager. And so he's been a part of all of it, and he clearly just gets it. He just seems like a really good guy. If you guys haven't seen any of his stuff, I go on YouTube and checked out a bunch of his interviews and stuff. But again, seems like a really, really nice man. So anyways, I wanted to throw that up there again. Good for the Nationals for doing that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon for supporting the channel. We really appreciate that. And that's all we have. We'll talk to you later.